What's happening?
What
Welcome
it
back
do?
to another episode of the Cookout, episode 46.
Yeah.
This is we here, man. We live and we ready to talk about Black
Live from
Widow.
the back.
Charlamagne, we live?
I think we are. We should be. As far as I'm concerned, it says we got two people watching. Ducky Momo
What's up,
in the
Ducky?
chat already saying
Yeah.
what's up.
Yeah, what y'all eating on? Right now we got Captain Crunch, peanut
Ooh.
butter and jelly.
Is that no berries, Captain Crunch?
No berries.
That's
Original.
the best Captain Crunch.
It is.
Also, if you have an Aldi in your area, the Aldi brand Captain Crunch is called Kids Crunch.
That's a good one?
It's better
No.
than real Captain Crunch.
Oh, wow.
In my opinion.
I
It
saw
holds-
it, but I didn't trust it.
It holds the crunch a little longer. It doesn't get soggy as quick.
That's critical.
That's important. Okay. Sometimes you just want to take
mean-
a phone call and then you come back, boom, your cereal is mush. That's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that is a problem with Captain Crunch though. The crunch don't stay crunch. It does lose the crunch.
Sipping
But
on water tonight.
The only benefit to that is it doesn't scrape the top of your mouth.
Okay, that's a fact. Because when it is crunchy, when it's crisp straight out the bag, that's a cereal that is really rough to eat dry. Because the roof of your mouth will be cut to pieces.
You're going to experience that with the kids' crunch. I'm not even going to hold you. Pick the battles. Do you want the sog or do you want the jacked up roof mouth? You got to pick.
Hey man, listen, that's life though. You gotta pick your poison. You know, you gotta pick your battles. What you gonna fight? How you feel like fighting today?
I took a risk and bought this from a corner store. Almost like a Dollar General, but more of a convenient side corner store where they have stuff in there to get, but you don't want to buy it.
What's the date on it?
Oh my goodness!
I didn't
What-
check the date.
You know
I
what?
feel like I taste mothballs in this Captain Crunch.
Oh
worry about
man,
it.
that's terrible.
Don't check
That
it. Matter
is
of fact, throw
terrible.
the box out and just wrap up the cereal in a plastic bag in a baggie so you good. Don't even look at the box. Mr. Loaf says Fruit Loops is his cereal of choice.
It's the loaf. What's
Fruit
happening?
Loops. Mm-hmm.
Fruit Loops. Okay, I can rock with the Fruit Loops. Fruit Loops.
You know what's great? Cookie Crisp.
Ugh, negative.
Cookie Crisp?
No,
Cookie Rip's good, low key. Low key.
Good.
can't do it.
But like
Can't do
when I was younger, my mom was like, "No, you can't have cookies for breakfast," and I was like, "Wow,
Mm.
rude." And then one time, my grandma let me get it, and I finally could taste life.
It's way too early to eat cookies,
It's not a
Waffle
cookie.
crisp though. Waffle crisp.
That's a cereal.
bro. Waffles are crispy.
I think that was the inspiration for the series.
Wait a minute.
Waffle
There's a
Crisp.
cereal called Waffle Crisp.
That is wild, bro. Hey, are you one of the kids that went through the cereal aisle and just pick stuff? Like, man, it looks
In my
good.
mind, I picked it, but I could never get it.
It's like that endless row of cereal. Like that's crazy how many different
Yeah.
flavors of cereal there are.
Waffle Crisp looks like honeycombs.
A little bit. It's good. It's good. It's right up there with French Toast Crunch.
Do they still make honeycombs?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch was my jam.
That's still my jam. That's between that and then I'm getting older
Oh,
now.
yeah.
So, you know, the Post, the Great Grains. You know, I really do enjoy those. You know.
Oh yeah, the whole grain cereals are good too. I like the what is it?
I forgot they came with a toy inside. Daggone show
It's not.
did.
Well, I almost want to call it. It's not Wheat Thins. I hadn't had cereal in so long. What
Oh,
is
the frosted mini wheat joint.
the mini wheats, but the cinnamon flavored ones.
You used to eat those?
The cinnamon ones are good, yo. I don't eat the regular. The cinnamon and sugar joints. Those are
You,
good.
you can't eat those till you like at least 19.
No,
Like,
I
say
definitely read.
19, 20.
I was definitely eating those in high school because that was my breakfast because it was good for like track when I was running track. Nice, healthy. That and fruit. That would be my breakfast,
Wait, all right.
especially like before a meat.
Fruity Pebbles are number one. I'm sorry, but Fruity Pebbles, Cocoa Pebbles, and Rice Krispies get soggy in 0.2 seconds.
Yo, your
Yeah.
milk would be
The moment you
purple.
blink,
That's
the
true.
milk is pink and or brown or whatever color the cereal is, and then boom, it's mush.
You got to eat those with that special bowl that separates
That's the
milk
dry
from
cereal
the
though. You know what I'm
dry
saying?
cereal.
That's the dry cereal though. Those it's certain cereals that are just better dry because once you add milk, it's over for it. You just eating soggy bread. Anyway, 5 minute discussion about cereal. We gotta talk about Black Widow
Black
because
Widow.
man, I've been ready to talk about this movie. This movie's been what? It's been delayed how long? A year and a half?
Too long.
2 years? Is
No,
it?
it's supposed to come out summer 2019, 2020. Not too long.
Summer
So a year,
2020.
so a year. It's been delayed for a year, and it's finally out on Disney Plus Premier Access and in theaters. Pick your poison. How do you view it? How did you watch it, Amani?
I went to the theaters. I got my popcorn. I went Regal RPX. That's when they have the surround sound and the seats that vibrate. So I felt all the booms and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Word. We got it on Premier Access on Disney Plus, so we got both sides, both experiences. We got one who saw it in theaters. We got two that saw it on Premier Access with the family while we were down for a birthday.
Yeah, my pop's birthday. Shout out to him.
Word.
I don't know if I want to put his age out there. Shout out Pop Dukes.
But yeah, man. So yeah, that was our experience, and definitely in the chat. Mind you, this is spoiler heavy discussion. We're not going to hold back on anything. Every detail we want to talk about, we're going to talk about it in this episode. This is what this is going to be dedicated to. So if you hadn't seen it and you don't want to be spoiled, this is your moment right here, right now to turn away and come back later after you have watched the film.
We got 7 viewers still. No one has left, so they must be cool.
You have been warned. And if you're watching on the replay, you know, you have been warned as well. So make sure you go watch that before you watch this if you don't want to be spoiled. I like how that flowed. That was kind of cool. You know what I'm saying? That was like bars. But for those of you who are saying to watch, let us know in the comment section on a scale of 1 to 10. Where do you rank this movie? We want to know.
I'm giving this an 8.
An 8.
I'm giving this movie an 8. Because it matched the energy of 2 of my favorite films. In fact, we have them number 1 and number 2 on our list. I felt like the energy in this movie matched Captain America Winter Soldier and Captain America Civil War. The energy and the intensity of the film, I would say, is on par with those 2 films. And I think what hurt this film is it coming out now. Even if it came out in 2020, I think it still would have been hurt by that. This movie deserved to come out when it took place, and that's after Civil War. I think we would have all have better about it, which is why I will say I might be rating it up, but that's because I felt like it coming out so late brought it down.
I actually have the same score. I gave it an 8 as well, and it is because primarily I don't know if it matches the same of the energy of Winter Soldier and Civil War, but it definitely fits within that time spectrum. Like it feels like it belongs with those movies. It should have been released with those movies. It should have been released right after Civil War. I agree with you there. But I also enjoyed Florence Pugh's portrayal of dang, I forgot the character's name.
Baby sister.
Baby sis. What's her name?
I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Yolanda.
No.
Yelena.
Yelena. Not Yolanda. Yelena. I loved her portrayal. I bought into it. I knew that this movie going into it was going to set up her character Yelena as, you know, the next Black Widow following the events of Endgame. So I felt like this movie handled that. She did an excellent job acting. I'm 100% on board with her character, and I'm behind it. And I just enjoyed the movie as overall. And I felt like, even though this isn't technically phase 4, it sets up some things that will come. And I'm glad. It's interesting. I would like to know if the end credit scene with Contessa, was that added after Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or was that something that they had in 2019?
Well, she was supposed to premiere in this film. So they did have her cast. Remember, there was whispers about a spoiler, a big character that was going to be shown in Falcon and the Winter Soldier that would ruin this movie for us. Well, that was it. So she was always supposed to be in this movie.
Word.
I say this movie, I agree with you. It does not feel like a Phase 4 film because it's just not to me. It was a Marvel Phase 3 film, right? That would have probably started off Phase 3 or ended Phase 2, depending on how they wrote it in there. So I would say I didn't like it for that reason, but I don't know if maybe it's just because she's a woman. I want Black Widow's film to be received well, and I want everybody to love it. So I don't want to be too harsh on decisions that are affected by the date of the film's release.
Yeah, I feel like they should have pulled the trigger on this movie way early. Like, it should not have been slated for 2019. It should have. She was definitely owed a movie. Like, she's been in the franchise since Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 2.
So I mean, it was long overdue for her to get a film, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. But JBM, what you got?
I gave it a 6 out of 10. An entertaining 6.
Entertaining 6.
Yeah, why did it lose those 4 points?
So I was hovering around 7.5, and then after the Taskmaster reveal, I was like, we got to drop it to a 6.
Yeah, I think that was underwhelming for a lot of people. I think from what I've seen online, that's been the biggest criticism of the movie. It's been the Taskmaster reveal.
They didn't learn from the Mandarin in Iron Man 3. Rinse and repeat.
It seemed unnecessary. the changes that they made to the character to make it fit into the story. But yeah, I mean,
I was expecting Taskmaster to be a robot, like an AI machine learning robot. That would have been cool.
That's what I thought it was. I think we talked about this while we were watching that. Because I said that. I was like, oh, it seems like he's going to be an AI in this. Because I didn't get any spoilers for we watched this, Sunday? Somehow I avoided the whole weekend without getting any spoilers on the movie. So I was just happy with that. Going into it, like, I had no idea beyond what they had advertised in the promotion for the film. I was completely clueless, so went into it blind, and I enjoyed it. But that Taskmaster thing did kind of take me out of the story, just a bit. So, and that did drop my score. I would have probably given it like maybe 8.5 or 9, but that Taskmaster thing kind of dropped
even
me.
with that. 9.
Yeah.
So I would say my beef was I wasn't as well versed with the story of the Taskmaster in the comics. So during the film, when I was watching the film and it was revealed that it was Old Boy's daughter, I was more discouraged because I felt like that would have been a cop-out for Black Widow. Like, this film, in the context of when it's supposed to take place, they're still dealing with the backlash of the Sokovia Accords. And at that point in Marvel, the individual Avengers themselves were struggling with decisions they've made. So in this case, the movie starts, and Black Widow's big decision that she made was she killed this little girl when attempting to kill, I forgot, but Old Boy who controls the Red Room. And, we go the whole movie thinking that, she did kill this girl, when in reality, she never did. And so she was able to, get redemption and say, I'm sorry, which that was kind of like a cop-out. Like, no, everybody else suffering, not Black Widow, Scarlet Witch is out here, crying about almost killing people. Like, Black Widow, you needed that moment too.
I was wondering why that girl troubled her so much when she killed X amount of people for X number of reasons. It was like, why? What makes this case so special? Why are we trying so hard? Why are we so reluctant to fight back? I didn't get that. It kind of felt unnatural.
That girl, who are you talking about?
Black Widow, when she found out who Taskmaster was.
Oh, I can see why she was regretful for killing her, because she took away a girl's innocence, and that had been done to her. So that's why I felt like she was connected to the character. Like, she lost her childhood and couldn't, do what she wanted to do. And she essentially took that away from the little girl. So that's what I thought was powerful, because she could relate to her. you know, and that's like basically she did the same thing to her that he had done to the other widows. So that's why I was like, wow, like, okay, now I understand. And then at the end, boom, she's still alive. So what?
Yeah, I like that.
All right, so in the comments, we got some rankings. Ducky Momo gave it a 7 out of 10. Thomas gave it a 6 out of 10. That boy Steve gave it a
negative 616.
Negative 616.
What?
Is that like an alternate planet 616? Like you can go her to, or that's like legit just negative 616.
Interesting. That's that's the playoff of the I guess the multiverse, the MCU. That's funny. My mom Cheryl gave it a 7.75.
Mama cool.
And I think that's all the ratings that we got. And then we got some Taskmaster comments. I think that boy Steve asked what do we think about Taskmaster. I think we gave our opinions of Taskmaster. Master. I missed the uncool. He gave it an 8 out of 8 to 8.5. So somewhere in between. So I would say what, 8.25? Probably. Seems like he's hovering in that range. But yeah, I think in so far IMDb has it at a 7 out of 10. So it seems like we're in the crew minus that boy Steve is in that ballpark with our ratings, averaging it out.
I don't have any arguments for anyone who dislikes the movie because I truly feel that it coming out in 2021 is doing it a disservice. This movie should have came out years ago.
Yeah, so, I agree with that too. Like it should have this movie should have happened. It should have been the next movie after Civil War.
Yeah, I think it should have happened earlier, but I don't see the reviews changing on it outside of like the hype surrounding the movie.
Yeah,
like the movie is still the movie.
I'm actually not really. I don't know. Somewhat surprised at how well it did in the box office, given everything that happened with Mulan and then the other Premier Access films. What was the other Premier Access? There was another one, wasn't there? Besides Mulan. But anyway, but that one, that, you know, though Mulan didn't do good at all, but
there was a lot of bad press around that too.
That didn't help it either. But it's good to see that there was still a lot of positive momentum around the film, and people still wanted to see it. And there was still a lot of hype and buzz around Black Widow and people wanting to see this movie. And I think that's a credit to Scarlett Johansson and her portrayal of Black Widow up to this point. I think a lot of people really were interested in seeing her own solo film, and you know the numbers kind of speak to that.
I want to respond to him because I kind of agree. He says they only dropped it late because she died in Endgame.
I agree with that.
And it, to me, the movie in some ways does feel like an afterthought. It's one, of course, it takes place after Civil War. We're years past that now. And some of the treatments just felt a little unfair. Like she didn't get a mid-credit, not the scene, but the mid-credit itself. Like, you know how they stylized the credits to give the names of the main characters.
Oh, like yeah.
It's its own stylized credit.
The comic book type,
like,
yeah.
Black Panther had the one with the scissor song. My favorite one is from Captain America Civil War, but especially the individual films would get it, and then the Avengers films get it too. So it just felt really unfair that this movie didn't even get that. Like it ended, and then boom, regular credits.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the name of that, so I'm sorry, y'all. I'm kind of stumbling on my words. I'm sure it has a name, but the artistic credit, this movie didn't get that, and I felt that was unfair. They could have done a whole bunch of stuff with spiders, made it artistic. They should have asked me my opinion on how it should have been done, and they didn't. That's why it was done. This movie did feel a little afterthought. It's like, wow, people really love this character. I guess we can give her a movie. Like she deserved a movie years ago.
The script felt like that too. Just kind of felt pieced together. Like when she met her sister for the first time and they just started fighting for no reason. Remember that part?
That was early when she got to.
Yeah, just throwing hands in the house. I'm like, what? Okay, what was this for? This how y'all say hello? I don't know.
No arguments there. I didn't really. They just started fighting. I feel you.
I don't know. Red Room.
I guess
Red Room?
Brainwashing.
maybe she thought her sister was brainwashed and vice versa or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I assume that's what
she sent the vials, the inhibitors, with a picture of them too, but she didn't write a note to be like, don't send this back.
Nope. But Black Widow did mention that. Excuse me. Natasha did mention like, well, you didn't say it, so that's why I'm here with it because you didn't tell me what to do.
Yeah,
so,
I was like, okay, here we go. There's a lot of those moments for me in the movie.
I really liked the idea of the Red Room and the main villain, and I felt like we deserved more of him. Like that was
The villain in this story was very weak. The villainry.
I didn't think so. For all of the power that they said he had, I think okay, I agree with you a little bit. For all of the power that they said he had, he was taken down pretty quickly by Natasha. Now, that being said, she is an Avenger. She is a much better Black Widow than anybody else. The number one Black Widow, which he said himself. But for a villain with this much power, a freaking fortress living in the sky 24/7, he should have been more than just this movie. Like, have we had hints at the Red Room before? No. This is the first hint that I can think of. This is not a hint, but the first time we're even hearing this name is in this film. Natasha spoke about her experiences, about, her, they call it sterilization, taking the ability of taking a woman's productive organs out for the purpose of her not being able to have children. She spoke about her sterilization before, but that was it. I think he deserves some more screen time, some more camera time.
Yeah, I mean, if they were going to do she could have. This is where I think if they would have actually devoted maybe 3 movies to Black Widow, I think she deserved possibly a trilogy. Yeah, because if you do an origin story with her character, that would explain the Red Room and all of that stuff. That would set up the villain properly. And then you could have a spy movie genre within Marvel, and that could go 3 films because it wouldn't just be about Black Widow, it would be about the whole Red Room. Like, you could have introduced Florence Pugh's character a little bit earlier, the whole dynamic between Red Guardian and that family. Like, this could have been easily, in my opinion, a trilogy of movies where you've got the true origin story of Black Widow and explaining the Red Room and just like how all of that works. And then similar to like Captain America, but you do it with Black Widow. I think if given the time, I think you could write at least a trilogy of films with that story. There's enough content in there, in my opinion.
Sorry, Coop. Remember when Red Sparrow came out and everybody was pissed because they felt like this could have been a Black Widow movie? Like, there was a time where spy movies were only dominated by men as the main character. And then recently there's been a push for more and more women. And I felt like once Marvel saw that the world would love a spy movie of this caliber led by a woman, then they were like, oh, wow, maybe she could have it. Maybe we could make it happen. But it didn't even need like, what am I trying to say? A Black Widow trilogy wouldn't even need a film as big as this one, as far as like the technology and all the cool stuff they had. It could have just been regular spy. All she got is a gun and these hands moving in to get the job done, and it still would have been well received as a Marvel film.
I think I would have liked that version better.
Have you seen Red Sparrow?
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I think I need to watch that again.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, and then because one of those movies could have been just with her exploits with Shield and the stuff that they were doing behind it, and then anything with Shield and Hydra, Like that could have, the second movie could have set up Winter Soldier. That would have been kind of an interesting setup.
Not mad at
But
that.
at that point, she wasn't as popular a character. I mean, the movies with the trilogies are the four main characters.
Because that's who they only give a chance to.
Yeah, like if they would have gave her a proper origin story, I think it would have built up for a sequel, maybe two.
If they put the same time and energy that they put into Iron Man and that they put into Thor and they put into Captain America, into Black Widow, it could have been a dope trilogy also. They chose not to.
Yeah, I think I would have liked a series more than a trilogy. Because then you got Hawkeye, and then how do you do that? Another trilogy, or a series, or a standalone film?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think now that they have Disney Plus, a series probably would have made sense. But I think I'm thinking back to like what was it, 2000? When did Iron Man 2 come out? Like 2009, 2010.
So,
like at that point in time, the movie would have been the route to go because they wouldn't have had a platform. I think that would have done this movie or the series justice, because you got to also think like they also had that Agents of Shield show on ABC, and that was terrible.
also, JB, to counteract that, Marvel has put thought into Hawkeye's character. Like they've already hinted at during the blip when his family was gone, this man lost his mind and started killing people. And he's getting a future show. Black Widow's movie is a significant afterthought. Like if people weren't whispering like we want a Black Widow movie, we wouldn't have got one, and she would have just died at the end of Endgame. Like Hawkeye got more stuff coming. But for her,
Hawkeye's got a show.
Hawkeye's gonna have a show on Disney Plus, and they've already teased more stuff with him, with Florence Pugh's character, getting his info at the end, and he's her next target. Like that was always gonna happen.
When is that show coming out? That's coming out this year. Hawkeye. That comes out in the fall. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's coming out on Disney Plus because they've been filming that.
Yeah.
For the past few months.
That boy Steve made a question. They just should have gave him a movie like they did Black Widow. But,
yeah, I mean he should have gotten one too. I mean they could have both been in the movie. You know what I'm saying? They could have got a movie together to launch.
Maybe that.
And to kind of like test, how this spy genre Marvel movie would have done. Because then you could split it from there and give them their own movies if they felt like them on their own, the character standing alone wouldn't have made money. I don't know what the decision was behind that for them not to make a film earlier, because I felt like with the success of the Marvel Cinematic Universe from Iron Man 1 until now, it would have justified her character and Hawkeye having some sort of film prior to now.
They could have made a Black Widow movie when they were busy making Thor 2. I tell you that. Between Thor 2 and Guardians of the Galaxy 2, they had time to work on Black Widow, and they chose to do other stuff. But I'm excited for Hawkeye. I hope whatever his future is in Marvel is longer than just this show. But I do hope the show touches on what he was doing during the blip. Because where Black Widow meets him in Endgame, like he is really going through it. He is at a tough time. He has brought it amongst himself to kill anyone in the world who he thinks is bad, and we need to see that on screen.
Yeah, I think also now that I'm thinking about it, it's probably too much. Well, maybe not too much, but a lot of the focus was on building up to Infinity War, and maybe some of the justification was that how would this movie or those movies tie into Infinity War or set up that those movies?
They could
possibly. Yeah, but that might have been what the hesitation was. Like, how many movies are we going to put in between before we get to this big event that we've been building towards. I don't know. Not to say that that's a valid excuse, but that might have been something that they had on the table or considering.
That boy Steve, Thor 2 slander is justified no matter what you say about it and no matter what the context of the conversation is. You could be talking about what you ate for breakfast and just slide in that Thor 2 was bad and it would still be fitting for the conversation.
The Thor 2, only the first act, the stuff that's on Asgard within the first act is probably, that's the only thing that is decent in that movie. The rest of it just makes no sense. Makes no sense.
Ducky Momo says, my understanding is that the Hawkeye show is about him training his daughter as his replacement for the upcoming Young Avengers stuff.
That'd be cool. Yeah, they're setting up that and the what's that anti-Avengers team with U.S. Agent,
Dark Avengers,
Thunderbolts.
The Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts, yeah.
Have they named the show for that yet, or is that some Phase 6 stuff?
That's probably like Phase 5, 6.
Gotcha.
How y'all feel about that end credit scene?
I wasn't mad at it.
I think it was good. I mean, it gave me something to look forward to because it's like that. So the interesting thing, having seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I know that that's the Thunderbolt Dark Avenger plot is what they're setting up. So that wasn't something that I like. I wonder how I would have received that end credit scene had that come out last year, and if that was in it, I don't know how I would have received it. I might have viewed it differently. I think having seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier and them setting up the Thunderbolts in that helped me to appreciate that end credit scene a little bit more.
A little more context with it.
And also,
way more context. That might have been confusing if you think about it. Like, imagine not seeing Falcon and the Winter Soldier and then seeing that scene in theaters. Like, man, that would have killed. Because, like, think about all the speculation that happened for WandaVision. Like, imagine, like, if that movie comes out last summer. And then we gotta wait till Falcon and Winter Soldier to get answers, and man, that might have hurt Falcon and the Winter Soldier more.
Not necessarily, because we still knew that he was going to be U.S. agent with all the googling we were doing. So we would have been expecting her. If anything, we would have been like, all right, she's coming. That's what we've been worried about, and of course, it happened later. I had a thought and I forgot it.
Yeah, I like that idea, Ducky. It would have, yeah. I feel like it would have been a nice way to send off Black Widow's character, but instead it was just like Amani said, an afterthought. They're at their grave and they're already trying to transition to the next thing. You know,
okay. Yeah, I agree with that. That is kind of insensitive.
So I like the post-credit scene because it's really the only thing that ties the film into what's happening now. Since they did not release it after Civil War and they want to release it now, they have to tie it into everything that we're now seeing. So I'm not so much bothered by the end credit scene. But like y'all said, the whole movie was an afterthought. And in fact, they probably felt like they gave her the respect she deserves when they killed her in Endgame anyway. So, you know what? They definitely had a funeral for Iron Man, but they had a
big funeral for Iron Man. That was the whole end of Endgame. Yeah.
Dang, son. That stinks.
I mean, and like she had all, I mean, her sacrifice was so key because if without her sacrifice, they don't even get the Soul Stone.
They ain't give sis no flowers.
So the whole plot hinges upon her making that sacrifice, because if she doesn't get the Soul Stone, like, Tony can't do what he did at the end of the game, and Banner can't either. Like, you know, it's yeah.
Hawkeye got his family back and forgot she existed. The moment his phone rang, his wife called, it was a wrap. Nobody even said Natasha's name anymore.
It's all Star-Lord's fault.
It is. Yes. This is Star-Lord's fault.
Yes.
Entirely his fault.
Yeah, but even though they didn't give her the proper send-off, the actress that played Yelena, I'm looking forward to her. She did a great job. She was like my favorite part of that movie.
Yeah. All of the emotional beats in that movie, she killed. Like, I felt all of the dialogue and everything that she her just entire portrayal of the character was great to me. Like all the family stuff, even though it was like cheesy, I still felt like, her wanting that. Like I bought what.
Yeah, you felt every piece of that.
Yeah, like her buying into the illusion, like the way she acted, that was brilliant to me.
Yeah, she did a great job. I had one low key gripe, and that was with the Russian version of Captain America. What's his name?
Red Guardian.
The Red Guardian. He was just even though he was funny, he was just like a bubbling idiot. He was getting his butt.
I agree with that.
I was like, this is Captain America, but the Russian version.
I think his beef was he was doing his job and then they just locked him up in jail for years. So the only thing he had was his memories. He had been in jail since they brought Yelena and Natasha back to go back into the Red Room. So he had been in jail this whole time. So
it's like 95.
Right. So I guess in his mind, the only thing he had was his memories because, he was a super soldier. They didn't know what to do with him. He knew too much. So boom, just throw him in jail.
Now, is he as strong as Captain America? Did he get the same serum? Did he get a modified version of it? I asked this because Taskmaster gave him the business. And I don't see Taskmaster beating like Captain America the way it beat the Red. What's his name?
Red Guardian.
Red Guardian.
So
I'm not sure.
You're not going to like my response because nobody likes the character. So this is not me saying that I like Taskmaster in this movie. This is just me explaining Marvel's justification because she was able to mimic the fighting styles of everybody she had ever seen fight, including because they definitely had, she had a shield, so she knew how Captain America fought. She could have easily given anybody the business, and her suit itself was probably strong so that her punches hit harder than everybody else. I don't think she was a super soldier. I think she had a super suit and she could mimic anybody's movements. So they probably are making it seem like she could take anyone, and that's why she was giving him the business, because potentially she could have given Captain America the business if given the opportunity.
He's also out of his prime. He is older.
Yes.
That's another thing I need explained to me. When is it your prime? And when are you out of your prime? This is a super soldier serum that at least doubles your lifespan, right?
No. Mm-mm.
What you mean no?
It doesn't double the life. It makes them strong. Like, so, okay, Bucky.
They age.
They age at a normal pace.
They age at a normal pace?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bucky, the exception, why Bucky looks so young is because they kept putting him in cryo freeze. Every time they would only bring him out of cryo freeze and stasis to execute a mission, then they put him back in stasis. Steve Rogers, same thing. He was frozen in ice up until the 2000s, and so he was basically still in his 20s the whole time, or 30s, maybe 30s. I don't know.
So not even a little bit.
Because remember, Isaiah aged like normal.
Yeah. Isaiah's prime example. He actually lived through his full. So like that'd be like, that's where now if she would have fought Red Guardian in his physical prime, that would have been strange.
Actually,
plus he's been in jail too, and he was out of shape.
He's been in jail.
He still got his
He had to have been on ice also, because Captain America was made in what year?
In the 40s.
And then in the 90s, Red Guardian is pretending to be a dad in the US. The only way for that to happen and him still look the way he looked in the 90s is if he was on ice at some point too.
Not necessarily, because in the comics, it's weird. They were Cold War, right? This is when the Soviets started developing the super soldier serum, because basically the super soldier serum becomes the nuke in the comic books. Basically, it replaces the nuclear arsenal. So every superpower country starts developing their own super soldier program. That's why you got Captain Britain, you got Captain America, you got the Red Guardian, and then so on and so forth. Like every major superpower created their own super soldier program. That became the nuclear deterrent within the Marvel universe. Now, how this all works out in the MCU, I don't know, because it's a completely different course of events that happened from the comics. So I don't know how potent the Soviet version of the super soldier serum was in comparison to the original Captain America serum. There's a lot of things that just we won't get answers for with this movie. Maybe we can get some sort of Red Guardian. I wouldn't mind seeing a Red Guardian origin story at some point with him being, more or less in his prime, doing his thing. And they would also have to answer who was he fighting, because there's no way he was fighting Captain America. Not Steve Rogers, Captain America, but was he fighting Isaiah Bradley? Like, if he fought Captain America at all?
Oh, you know what? It probably was Isaiah Bradley,
because it's not possible for him to have fought Captain America.
Steve Rogers,
Captain America.
Well, there's also a battle as to whether or not he actually fought him, because he was telling.
He could be lying, right?
In the jail, he was absolutely lying about what he was doing. So
that was for survival, though. That was a survival tactic.
Against who?
But who's gonna check him though? You know what I'm saying? He could literally say anything in there. I feel like
he lie to survive.
Oh man,
it's not about. He's just telling stories. Like, he's got to build. Like, his whole. I think his whole thing was that he spent the majority of his prime on some backdoor mission in the U.S. that didn't really amount to anything, and he never became the legend that Captain America became, because that's what he wanted for himself.
Yeah.
And then he just made up all of these stories because, one, he knows he's got the super soldier serum, so who in that prison is going to actually check him on anything that he says? And if they do, you see the result.
I don't think this is the end of this character. I think we would see him again. And I think so. In fact, we might even be able to see, if not an origin story, a Red Guardian story that takes place in the past.
Yeah, I mean, they got David Harbour. I don't see them. They just did. Why would you get somebody like that to only use for one film in this capacity?
Strong actor.
Yeah,
you think he was underserved in this movie? His character?
No,
not really. But I think they have ambition, and I think they want. I don't think you cast an actor of his caliber and just use him in that role, and just that be it. Like, I think they cast him because they hope that they can possibly bring his character into the property, in later franchises. Like, whenever we see Florence Pugh again, I think we'll see him in the Red Guardian, which could also lead to, another maybe a Red Guardian movie sometime down the road, or maybe a series on Disney Plus.
Maybe him and Isaiah Bradley's Captain America.
Yeah, because see, that could be an interesting retcon, right? Like, maybe they wrote this without that whole plot being in there, but they could retcon that to where he actually did fight Captain America, but it wasn't Steve Rogers, it was Isaiah Bradley. And then that could be the origin story. Then you could bring in a young Isaiah Bradley, Captain America, and Red Guardian. It's possible.
Red Guardian and Isaiah Bradley have similar stories. They did what they needed to do for their country, and then they're both threw them in jail for years. So that's a pretty similar story. And the only reason why,
that's a good comparison. Maybe they'll connect that dot. Give us a tag team movie.
Gotta answer this. Sons and Six.
Sons and Six.
Shout out to CP3
in Milwaukee, right?
Is that? Yeah, that is tonight. No, it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow.
I'm gonna say it's tomorrow. Bucks win game 4. Suns win games 5, 6.
Now I got Suns winning tomorrow, and then they take it home when they finish it in Phoenix.
Oh, hold up. That'd be Suns and 5. You said? I thought you said Suns and 6.
Yeah, that means Suns and 5. Suns and 5. Gentleman's sweep.
He said 5.
Suns. CP3, man. Shout out to Winston-Salem.
Yeah, 336.
You know what I'm saying? North Carolinian in the finals. I'm rooting for him.
Mm-hmm.
Rooting for him. Plus, Chris Paul deserves it. But that's that's a discussion for a different day, different type of topic.
I'd like to see some If they do like older, chronologically older stories, like some Black Widow missions, you know what I mean? And it don't even have to be Scarlett Johansson. It can be any op, any agent.
That's what kills me. Like the Red Room seems crazy powerful. They got ops everywhere. He had widows all over the country. I want to know about what they.
Oh yeah, and
be a great
what's his name said he had like control of every government.
Yes, because
Like,
he had.
show us that. I want to see that. What's that about?
Spec Ops.
Disney. If you watching and you steal my idea, I'm coming for you. Hire me to work it out. Imagine a show. Every single episode is based in a different city across the world, and there's a widow who needs to complete a task. Now, of course, because they're still in control of the Red Room, the whole show is negative because people dying and they're collapsing governments, but people watch it. Call me if the show comes out and y'all did not include me. I'm suing. Period. What's today? It's July 13th at 8:46 p.m. Y'all heard it here first.
Yeah, I can see.
They scrubbing the internet for ideas. That's what they do.
They gonna steal my idea. I already know it. I feel it coming.
I can see a Red Room.
Lisa Green took my idea.
Which one?
Did you see the Bible for season 2 of Lovecraft Country?
I didn't see the Bible, but I saw the map.
That map, the map.
That was your idea?
Yeah, like 93% of it.
Misha Green, we coming for you. Actually, they took the show away, so I guess
you got canceled.
Coop can vouch. Coop can vouch.
Yeah, that is factually accurate.
Ducky Momo said I better file that patent. You can get a patent for a script.
IP.
Intellectual property. Yeah.
If it's a script, you got to submit it to
that's the thing.
To lock you in for your IP.
Yeah, that's the thing though. You got to get the script written first.
I got to write the whole script. I can't just say my idea. Like, yo, this is what I think y'all should do, but it's my idea. I can't just send that.
I write the whole script. Not good enough. You got to have a script. You got to have a treatment.
A script.
So it doesn't have to be a final edit of the script, but you have to have the pilot.
You can do it one night.
You gotta have you gotta have the pilot written and then a synopsis of the rest of the show. You don't have to have the whole episodic thing written out, but the pilot has to be written and then the whole total show synopsis.
How many characters is a tweet? What is it? 180?
That's not good enough if that's where you go. That ain't gonna hold up in court.
I'll see what I can do.
Hey man, listen, a read through on the script. It's a minute per page, so if you
a minute a page.
Read.
I might talk myself out of this idea so quick. No, F that, Disney. I said what I said. It's mine. I'm gonna figure it out.
So if you're going for a 45-minute or what would be an hour long episode for the pilot.
I was thinking
you got 45 pages to write, and then you got to finish your the synopsis for the show, how it starts and where it finishes, and then now you're talking about IP, and that's a battle you can win in court.
All right. The first episode is gonna be a Black American woman, just cause.
That's fine.
I'm gonna start there.
During Obama,
hey, she did have a number of widows in the.
Did you notice which widow died first in that Black Widow movie?
Yeah, I peeped. Of course. And she suffered. All right. Agenda. You know what I'm going to do? It's going to be a Black woman during the Obama administration. She's going to be his stylist, and she's going to be the person who gave him that tan suit that had everybody mad.
Wait, hold on. Who? The Asian lady?
You're right. She technically died first, but the widow that was still working for the Red Room that died first was a Black woman who fell off the building and broke her leg, and then he made her
the same fall that Black Widow survived without injuring nothing to her body. I peeped that. I was like, yo, there's a lot of crazy things happening in this movie, but it's Marvel, so I'm going with it. They fight aliens. But when that rocket hit her car, exploded and then flipped 10 times, and she got out and started fighting, I said, okay.
You're right. I'm not even gonna argue that, boy. See, it's sounding way better right now. I don't want to respond to hate.
Oh, that first look is coming out on the 25th. Yeah, you know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a smiley face.
Nah.
No, he ain't slick. You got taller for your game team. Did I?
Oh man.
Dune got. Hold on. When is
I
Dune
think it
being
got
released?
moved up. Dune release date.
They've got a first look coming up on the 25th, I believe, of this month. I don't know what that is.
Dune has been moved up. It is now being released on October 1st, 2021, which means I have some work to do because I just lost 2 whole months.
Oh man.
Speaking of that, how y'all feel about the Deadpool confirmation? Y'all see that video today?
I did see
So
it.
I didn't watch it, but I mean I don't. Okay. Cool. I didn't watch it.
I thought this was a pro Deadpool space here.
It's not that it's an anti-Deadpool space, but what does that mean? Because it's not an actual movie. Like, yeah, he's in it, but I mean, they also just had old boy from Fox in WandaVision. So
I think so. Like I already knew that they'd already announced that there was going to be a Marvel Deadpool spinover. At least that was in the rumor mill. So I wasn't entirely shocked. And it's like the amount of money that Deadpool made in the box office. Like it'd be crazy not to tie this into the MCU because it's what the fans have been clamoring for since the first movie. So it doesn't shock me.
Okay, I thought y'all'd be more excited about it.
I am excited, maybe,
Deadpool fans.
but I don't want to go crazy like I did with WandaVision because all of WandaVision, we just knew we were about to get the X-Men crossover of a lifetime and it didn't happen. So if it's going to happen, the video today didn't necessarily announce that. They just brought 2 characters together. I'm going to wait until the movie comes out to then enjoy. This is not me not liking Deadpool. This is me not doing the most when it comes to Marvel movies in general anymore because I'm hurting myself when I do it.
Okay.
Growth.
It's Deadpool. Like Deadpool's just gonna be Deadpool. Like he's gonna whatever property he shows up in, he's gonna be Deadpool. And I mean, as long as they stay true and accurate to the character, I really don't care. Don't care. I would have been more hype if it were like an X-Men announcement, like some things that we're still anticipating and waiting for. Anything related to Phase 5 and 6, stuff of that nature. What's the big picture? Like we got Loki episode 6 coming up. Hopefully, we'll get something related to Kang. And then that will. I missed it. I don't know what happened.
Oh man, that's funny. Continue, Coop. I don't mean to interrupt.
Okay. Yeah, but that's all. That's all I'm saying. Like, as long as once we start getting some Phase 5 and 6 news with the major players within Marvel, then I'm start getting hyped.
You know what would make me more hyped, JBM? Seeing Deadpool in a film that's not a Deadpool film. If he can branch out and be in another film, I would be way more hype about that than a couple of characters being in a Deadpool film, because we already saw the whole X-Men First Class cast was in the second Deadpool movie. Remember they flashed in the mansion in the school and they closed the door.
Maybe
he made a joke about how no one is ever in the mansion and how nobody cares about Deadpool, and they're having a meeting behind him, and what's the blue dude closes the door behind him while he's not paying attention to hide that they're in there, and it was everybody.
I totally forgot that. That's from 2.
I think that's 2. I think that's the second one before he gets arrested. Remember in the second one, like he hires him, he's working as an intern with the X-Men, and then he gets arrested later. That's like early in the movie, like within the first 15 minutes, I think that happened.
I do remember him working with the X-Men.
Yeah. So that being said, if he's in another movie, I would be way more hype about that. I
Like
absolutely expect them to make jokes about how Disney bought Fox and, but
that's funny.
Deadpool isn't still a part of it. That's gonna happen. I expect that.
Okay, so a significant cameo in some movie.
A Deadpool cameo, or make a movie that ties into the MCU, because even the Deadpool films didn't tie into the X-Men universe. They were just their own thing. So if they make a film that ties in somehow, I would be hype about that too.
I mean, I
Maybe
would be
Doctor
hype
Strange.
about X Force. If they announce X Force, that would get me hype.
Yeah, maybe that's hint little breadcrumbs to this, but that might be doing too much.
Yeah, but I need. That's what I'm saying. I would need that announcement. I'm not going to like hype myself up for something that may or may not happen.
Yeah, Ducky's making a point here. I think he could fit in certain stories like Doctor Strange, Spider Man, something like that. Maybe even Thor, Love and Thunder.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
There's
Dr. Strange
certain.
would be pissed if he was in there. I would absolutely love to see that. Sorry, cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain characters that he fits better in with, like the X-Men. Him and Wolverine, for instance. That's a better tandem. Like him appearing in a movie more Wolverine centered makes more sense because they go back and forth all the time in the comics. Like he's more on the X-Men side of things. So like it'd be strange to see him in no pun intended Doctor Strange, but I can see that happening. But like him staying in the X universe is more that's the more logical approach in my opinion for it. Because they kind of set up X Force in Deadpool 2, so it would be cool for them to come, bring that into fruition on the MCU side of things, or with Sony or Fox, whoever. I don't care. Well, no, it's not going to be Fox, but yeah, it would have to be Marvel. I wouldn't mind a series on Disney Plus if they want to do that either.
Like a
An
Deadpool
X-Force.
series.
No, X-Force series on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing X-Men live action series.
I've been preaching that ever since they purchased Fox from because I was like, the X-Men property, one, there's way too many of them to just continue to do the same types of movies that they were doing over at Fox. With Disney, they need to take another approach. Like, we're so used to seeing the X-Men in more of a serialized format. Let's do that in live action. I think a lot of people would love to see X-Men in live action and in a serial format, just like what we grew up on with the cartoons. Like,
Yeah.
because as far as I think everyone on the internet and in this panel who's seen the X-Men cartoons like those way more than they like the films. Like I've always been a bigger fan of the comic of the show than I have been of the movies.
How great would it be for that X-Men live action show to start with the theme music from the animated show?
That would be something they would do. I could totally see them doing, like working in, like doing some sort of crossover with the Avengers and mix it in, blend the classic X-Men theme into it. I could see a composer doing that. I think that would be brilliant.
I know I'm the consistent purveyor of violence, but like I want it to be dark too.
Huh?
I want that show to be dark too if they did it.
That'd be, yeah.
Like they have consistently thrown not like some, soft villains at these kids. These are like high school students battling like the world's worst, the universe's worst bad guys. Like I want to see blood and I want it to be rated TVMA.
If I think I could see them mimic, like taking the tone of what was the movie that came out last year, the X-Men movie.
New Mutants.
Yeah, New Mutants. If they took that tone and applied it to a series on Disney Plus, at least for the first season, right, just to see how people respond to it. I think people would really dig it, and I think similar to what they did with the Mandalorian, like just dip their toe in the water first, see how people respond, and then go, just ease everybody into more of that darker X-Men universe, because then you can start crossing over some of the Spider-Man properties like the Sinister Six and like the darker Marvel comics, like the Blade and all the vampire stuff. Like all of that stuff could cross over into that.
They could be thinking about it, because even though they announced who was going to be playing Blade, we have not gotten any more news about that film. And I don't think it's because it's not happening. I think it's because they changed their plans for things. Because when they announced Blade, that was before the Fox takeover, right?
Yeah.
That might make things different. So I do hope that they, reconsider.
No, I think it was after. Because they couldn't have done that without, because I believe Fox owned full rights to those characters.
Blade?
So, yeah, prior to that purchase. To and X-Men. So like the Sony deal is different. That's why that was more unique. Like Sony owned the rights to Spider-Man and to just Spider-Man and a character associated with the Spider-Man comic book franchise. So that deal that they worked out with Sony to share the character and to share the franchise, Sony had all the cards because they owned the property. They were the ones loaning the character to Disney to use in the MCU, which is why it was crazy that the fans had that much power in that situation to allow for Disney to gain the upper hand, because it caused such an upstir that Sony's stock began to suffer after the announcement came out that they might be pulling out of the deal with Disney, and we wouldn't see Tom Holland Spider-Man in the MCU anymore.
Blade wasn't.
But Fox's
Blade didn't have rights to. I mean, Fox didn't have Blade.
Well, who owned Blade?
Looks like Lionsgate.
Oh, they must have. When did they sell that?
What I miss about Blade?
They either sold it or they just let the they may have just let it run out. I don't know, because I don't even remember seeing when that was purchased.
I just looked up. Apparently, they tried to have Blade and X-Men crossovers in the past, and they couldn't do it because Fox wouldn't let them.
Fox, man.
Yeah, that every single movie that they've put out was like, those are the worst movies in the ranking.
Speaking of that, are we putting Black Widow in the rank today?
Oh, we got to do that.
Let's
See?
do that real quick. Let's do that.
I forgot. Let me do that. Give me a moment.
But yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity on Disney Plus for Marvel. I think if Marvel takes advantage of Disney Plus like Star Wars has up to this point, there could really be some nice content going up on Disney Plus on the Marvel side of things too. That also ties into the MCU, because that's the key. Like, it has to connect. It can't be like the Netflix shows that didn't connect to the MCU. Like, we got to have some sort of tie-in to that story.
Yeah. You think they can create the X-Men as big as they've made the MCU?
If it exists on Disney Plus, yeah. X-Men franchise is like one of the most popular IPs on the planet. So wherever it lands, as long as the story is done right, like, people are going to flock to it.
Yeah. I think they can. I think they can break up the characters, give them their own backstories. It's funny, Ducky. Ragnarok might come up.
We had some conversations off camera about how today's episode should flow, and I asked if this was going to be an only Black Widow show or if we were going to have a regular Cookout show and talk about Black Widow in it. And JBM said we should just, have a Black Widow segment, but then he also said we need to rank it. And I was like, yo, if we rank in Black Widow and we're talking about it on the show, we might not be able to do anything else because we're gonna do just what you said and end up revisiting old stuff, and it's never gonna get done. But we're gonna get it done. So y'all ready?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's get it.
Before we discuss anything other than Black Widow, I think this is easily a top 15 film. And I would argue that I absolutely enjoyed it more than Venom.
I'd put it above Deadpool.
In the 16th.
Oh man.
Blade 2 can probably.
Okay, and I don't want to say it, but maybe Blade 2 should be below Venom. Possibly.
It is below Venom.
I'm saying maybe it doesn't belong. Does Venom belong right there?
Oh, okay. So it's a petition to replace Venom.
Maybe switch Venom and Blade 2.
Here's the thing with Venom and Blade 2.
Yeah, move Blade 2 into the 14 spot and then Black Widow into the 15 spot.
And then that will put Venom in the 16 spot. That's what I'm proposing. I think that.
See, I'm
not
I'm looking
opposed
at
to that though.
I went into Venom thinking, and I was like, oh wow, Venom was actually pretty good. I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went into Black Widow expecting to see Marvel's version of Jason Bourne or wherever the comparison was. And I came out thinking like, they messed up the villain, a few other minor things. But it was entertaining to watch. So I don't know.
Ducky Momo, I didn't give it a 6 or a 7. I gave it an 8.
I did as well.
Yeah, I gave it a 6.
He gave it a 6.
I gave it a 6. Hey, you know what? Yeah, we can't put it above Venom because Venom is not a 6 to me. Venom's like a 7.5.
All right. Well, you did absolutely say that you felt like it was above Deadpool before, and you stand by that still.
Yeah, I stand on that.
So
I'd rather watch Black Widow again than Deadpool.
Black Widow or Deadpool, you watching it right now? I mean, Blade 2.
Blade 2.
Or Blade. You watching Blade 2?
Just because I haven't seen it in a while.
I can't argue with that. Right?
Coop, what you thinking, Coop? You troubled. Like also my thing with Venom, I like the villain more in that one. He fit, he made sense. That's just me.
If I had to compare villains, Red Room Dude is much more powerful, but I think this film did him a disservice. Someone that vile and that powerful, and they were able to take him out in one film, that's crazy.
Yeah, he wasn't well developed.
He deserved years of like fights.
Yeah, and see, I feel like they're gonna. This is where they start retconning stuff.
You know, I forgot about the other movies below Deadpool. Spider-Man 2: Far From Home, Doctor Strange. Okay, I'd watch Doctor Strange again before I would watch Black Widow.
I said we should put Deadpool above Doctor Strange.
Wait, scroll down. Where
I'm telling y'all was on this Deadpool binge for some reason for like 2 shows.
Well, I'm scrolling down. You said cool.
Yeah. Let me see what all we got on here. Man.
The more I look at
this is the wild thing. This whole argument of what I watched so and so before. Like, are y'all telling me y'all will watch The Incredible Hulk before you watch this movie again?
I would.
No.
That is crazy. Like, that movie is not.
Nah, hold on. Let me take that back. I don't know. I gotta think about it.
You would watch The Incredible Hulk before you would watch Black Widow?
That is insane.
I'm not saying that. Who said that?
Oh, I don't know.
JBM,
That's what I'm saying. Cause like we talking about.
Hmm.
I got to see where everything's going.
okay, I will have to say though, and this is why it's hard because like this high on the list, if you exclude some of them at the bottom, didn't mean to do that. These are still all great movies. Like
Okay,
these are not
here's
bad
my
films.
thing
That's where
is
we're struggling.
my thing is it's a top 20 Marvel movie.
I think it's higher than that.
I don't know about it being
I would
15 is
give
tough.
that top 20.
It's
I give it
it's
a
top
definite
20.
top
I can give it
yeah.
top 20.
That's yeah,
My
yeah.
question is because I would watch Doctor Strange before I watch this movie again.
This is correct.
My beef with Doctor Strange is that it's a little slow. Like the whole time from when he's a doctor to when he loses his hands and then he wants to get in the comatage, like I don't need it. I fast forward through it. It's a lot of movie to skip through.
Well, I said what I said. And
Oh man.
my opinion has not changed.
So where are you putting it, Coop?
See, here's the problem though. I still hadn't seen Far From Home. So this is where I need y'all to tell me
You know what?
Why
you know
won't
what?
you just watch?
where would
I'd
you
rather
put
watch
this?
Black Widow again than Spider-Man 2 Far From Home. I didn't like the villain in Far From Home either.
I would watch it before I watch Far From Home. I would put Black Widow above Far From Home.
So my argument that would be that it is in the 20 spot. I could see Black Widow going to the 20 spot.
I wouldn't put it over Spider-Man, the first one.
Okay, so how about this?
Spider-Man is like
If
it
we
can't
put-
be about Spider-Man.
If
Wow.
we put Black Widow in the 20 spot right now, and once I move it,
It feels way
We
too early
then-
to be putting this in a ranking though.
I mean,
It just came out.
Yeah, we just watched it.
It just came out though. It
I
just
don't
came out.
disagree with you, Coop.
It just came out. Like we giving this movie no time to marinate. We have no idea how big or how significant this movie is going to be into the greater plot of the MCU moving forward. Cause like here's the thing, like if this movie, let's just say hypothetically, right, this movie actually plays a significant role in Phase 5. Like that, in my opinion, might bump it up a few more spots because it might be more significant to the greater MCU plot than we are giving it credit for at this moment.
I don't
Possibly,
disagree
but you
with
know
that.
the rankings have been changing every week, so we can always.
So if this can be fluid, if we could agree that this ranking thing will, let's say after each phase we come back and adjust this again, right? We're okay with moving stuff around based off what has come out and what's, what's become more significant, what just kind of sort of regressed, and then you still got your classics though. But like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's no.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
It's a little too early, but I still feel like right now, as it stands, it's top 20.
So should we not put it in there right now and just leave it alone?
I'm okay with putting it in right now,
Yeah,
but
we gotta put it in.
just saying for everybody watching and for us, like this is not like we'll have to come back and look at these lists after each phase to see where stuff falls. But right now, I'm like a 20 spot. Now, if there's an argument,
So what
for
what
it to go,
Spider-Man, it's above Spider-Man.
Above Spider-Man Far From Home, and it takes the 20 spot.
Not two, but like the
Spider-Man,
first Spider-Man.
the original Spider-Man, the first one, Sony Spider-Man.
Like Spider-Man should have been where Spider-Man 2 is at the least.
Where y'all fought hard for Spider-Man 2 and felt like it was the superior Spider-Man movie. Where is Spider-Man 1?
It's 22.
Oh, 23. I'm watching Black Widow before I watch the first Spider-Man movie. Okay. I'm not even putting that on.
Wow. The first Spider-Man?
The Green
It's
Goblin. Does
30
Green
year
Goblin
old
die in that
man.
movie? Does Green Goblin dies?
He
Yeah.
dies. He gets impaled by his rover.
Yeah. That was kind of a waste.
That was
Not
before
kind of a
they
waste.
had,
That was a waste.
that was before they had the agile thinking tank.
The agile thinking tank. I don't know. Right now I'm cool where it is. It can slide.
Before Scrum days. Now they scrum up all these movies, these stories.
I'm good where it's at.
Where is it?
20, right?
Oh dang, we just put it there. All right. I guess 2-1.
Well, I
Majority.
moved it just so it could be there while we were talking, because if I didn't put it there, it still wouldn't be there. But I'm not going to argue with its current placement.
Can we put Spider-Man above 2?
The first Spider, no. You want to move it all the way up there?
It's just we're
Spider-Man.
revisiting, in a
You want to put
act
the
of
first
fluidity.
Spider-Man movie in the 13 spot?
Oh no, Far From Home.
Oh, okay. I feel better now. I thought y'all was trying to move it up here.
No.
So you want to move the first Spider-Man movie? I'm watching Captain America: The First Avenger before I watch the first Spider-Man movie for real. I fought to have Captain America: The First Avenger over Spider-Man: Too Far From Home, and I lost.
How about we put Captain America at 21, Spider-Man 22, Far From Home 23.
I'm cool with that. Cool. How you feel about that?
Sure. I'm not opposed to it.
I would still have Spider-Man at 20, but it's all right. It's okay.
I still do not understand how the Incredible Hulk is above Ragnarok. I just cannot
All right,
understand.
Ragnarok. We
Just-
can swap.
it
them.
I cannot understand that.
That movie was not bad. When's the last time you watched it? Go watch it again. If you watched it last week, go watch it again.
I watched it. I did. So before Endgame came out, watched all these movies in order, and my opinion has not changed about this movie.
I saw this movie before we started this list. I watched both of the Hulk movies to prepare myself.
That's fine, but it's not that good. It's not better than Ragnarok. Oh goodness gracious, it's okay. It's better than that first Hulk movie that was just an atrocity, but it's not like it does not have a high replay value.
JBM, where you wanted to go?
It's it can go up. It's fine.
Stop. You gotta break the tie. Cool. What spot do you want it in?
Let me see. Just swap.
Replace it
Yeah,
with
swap.
Incredible
Yeah,
Hulk,
swap.
yeah.
Yeah, Incredible Hulk and Ragnarok swap places.
You put it above Far From Home.
No, I wouldn't put it above Far From Home. I haven't seen it. I can't put it. Yeah, so I can't say if I like it better than that movie. But I'm okay with it being there. See? Thank you. Appreciate that. Woo!
Hey, Ragnarok has increased the most spaces out of this.
Ragnarok was a lot lower.
Because y'all are the only ones that have a problem with this movie. The whole chat has been like, why is that movie so low? It's not that, like, I
It's because
don't
I
understand.
fell asleep on it.
That's not the movie's fault.
Where's Thor?
Maybe it is though.
When I went to the theater to see it, like, it was hype. But I went on premiere night, so I was in there with all the hardcore Marvel fans.
Okay, I will
And
say,
like, that was probably the best Thor theatrical experience I've had. It's the best Thor movie.
I am going to take time this weekend to watch Thor again, because I can say that Thor is the only Marvel film besides Far From Home that I did not watch in theaters. I did not get to see it in theater, so it never got that opportunity. Actually, I might have seen. No, I didn't get to see it. I didn't get to see Far From Home in theaters, but I will give it another chance. I will watch it this weekend. I will even make sure I have popcorn so that I set the vibe, and I'll watch this movie again for you,
Appreciate that.
for all of y'all in the chat. And
Because
actually,
we have been lobbying for this movie to
JB,
move
have you
up.
gonna watch it?
I'll watch it again. You know, I started watching Shazam. That's DC off topic, but yeah.
Y'all broke me. I hope you're happy.
All right. So what was next on the
I'm
docket?
content. That's it.
That's all we have for today.
We're an hour and 20 in. Our review is done. We've put it in the ranks, the gumbo ranks of Marvel movies. I think we've done. We've had a job well done. Done a job well done. I don't know. It's too
Got it
late. I'm
done?
tired and ready to go. Got it done.
We
It's
did?
done. We did that. That was did.
Mission complete.
All that.
Period.
Say that.
Well, next week on the Cookout, we have to talk about these Emmy nominations because a few of them might have made you mad. And
I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm not made me mad, but I'm like asking questions. How did Don Cheadle get nominated for his part in Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Like what?
listen, we will
What?
talk that
That
next
man
week.
was in the series for like 5 minutes tops,
That was a
and he got best guest appearance in a drama. What? That is insane.
Yeah.
Even he's confused.
The show.
That's not
'cause
even the biggest topic.
It was
of
in
the
the first episode. And it was just like him acknowledging, yo, why did you take the shield? And he said what he said, then he was done. And I'm like, he got nominated for this? He didn't do anything. But anyways, that was wild.
We're gonna talk about the Emmys. We're gonna discuss the best and worst superhero costumes in film. Lots of conversations about bat nips again.
Batnips, they're growing on me.
So thank y'all for watching. As always, please join us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Certified Gumbo. If you love us and you love everything that we do, please support us. The link to buy us some coffee is in the description bar below. As always,
man.
we talk about this stuff all day, every day on Discord. So please join us on Discord tomorrow at 8 p.m. JBM, are you joining us? Season finale of Loki, possibly finale.
I might be there. I might be there for the finale.
Season finale, man. It's a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? A lot of things.
Yeah, man. I liked the last episode of that. It was cool. Conceptually, it was great. I loved it.
Bet. Cool. Star Wars Friday.
Absolutely. Bad Batch episode 12 review 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on this channel. So definitely make sure you tune in for that. If you've been following that series, we will be talking about it, breaking it down. Had a really good episode last week. Saw some familiar faces, some returning characters, OG Clone Wars fans and Rebels fans rejoicing everywhere for some of those surprise appearances, and nice 2-part arc we got coming up, or at least I'm thinking it's at least 2 arcs or 2 parts. But yeah, tune in to that Friday, and then we will see you again next Tuesday, same time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on this channel. Star Wars MCU OG says good stream, guys. Appreciate you for tuning in.
You.
What's up, man? Yeah.
Please like and subscribe.
Absolutely. Oh, I also saw let me see, Belinda popped in the chat, as well as Second Street Marvel popped in.
Second Street.
Shout out to Trinity. Appreciate you. I don't know if you're still watching, but appreciate you for joining, tuning in tonight. Well as Belinda, who says thank you. And is that everything? Everybody? JBM, any closing remarks? Anything?
Y'all have a good night.
And as I always say, peace, love, blessings, and may the force be with you always.
Bye, y'all.